wheel of time turns and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Welcome to Dragonmount. I'm Kathy Campbell.
I'm Rajiv Moté.
And I'm Maureen Carr. We are going to be talking about the 4th episode. This is called Daughter of the Night. It was directed by Sana Hamri, and the writer was Dave Hill.
Excellent. All right, so spoiler alert. This is the last episode that we have received in the first group of screeners, shall we say, which is terrible that we have to wait even longer before we get the next episode because, wow, this episode was incredible.
It's the podcasting version of First World Problems.
Here. Oh, yes, definitely.
Major first world problems, but you know what? I think I'll handle it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Absolutely. Especially because we get to, spend time talking about it before anyone else has opinions, which I think is something really nice. Not that other people's opinions aren't valid or important, but that means that these 4 episodes are something extra special, I think, because we haven't seen the reaction.
Yes.
We're
so
coming
it's
in
real,
completely fresh, completely shielded from refining of our opinions through seeing everybody on social media. So, this is a hot take, the hottest of takes.
It is really funny though. Although seeing as like the new trailers are released or clips are released and everybody's freaking out, and I was like, I know that. Like that's.
Yeah.
We talked about that already.
Let me
that's in the
refrain
episode
from
that we're talking
commenting
about.
on this.
Yeah, right.
Like the whole debate about that photo with Celine
the
and
hair
Rand
and hood.
about whether it was a hair or hood. And I'm like, I know.
She has beautiful silky hair. But
gorgeous silky hair.
Very, very pretty.
I just saw today there was speculation, and someone absolutely nailed it. Because they announced the casting of Adelius.
Oh yeah,
and someone said, but no Vandine. Maybe they're going to merge Viren and Vandine. I'm not going to say anything, but
like,
yes,
100
points to you. Okay.
Yeah, it's exciting, but also it's difficult because there's a lot of content creators coming out that are like talking about these little snippets, and it's not really something that we can do since we know what's happening. So it almost feels like I'm missing a step in our coverage, but also it's not missed because
this is our coverage.
The answers.
This is our coverage, and we have to recuse ourselves from speculation. Although now, at the end of this, we are ready to speculate again because
absolutely
we haven't seen anything beyond this point yet.
Which is exciting because we watched the 4 episodes and then we watched them again with notes for these episodes. So we knew what happened in the first half of the season before we recorded the first episode of the podcast. All right, so as always, we are going to break this down by storyline. But again, like previous episodes, some crossing of the streams, shall we say. So we will skip around just a little bit, but we're going to do our best to try and keep this cohesive and together and make some sort of sense.
But regardless, we have our cold open, and that is a fantastic place to start still.
Absolutely. And it's something that it's interesting that this season, the cold opens, even though they have been kind of in the past, they've also been very conducive and important to the plot lines. Yeah. So in this cold open, we see Ishi walking in into these beautiful caves. I need to know where this was filmed because gorgeous. Obviously, this has to be real. Like, there's no way that you can. I mean, I guess you could make this, but that seems unfortunate. When instead you could just, set up some cameras and lighting and stuff and whatnot. And he comes in to the cave and looks up, and you see the bottom of what I think is the seal that he fought Rand on from the above, based on like the crack patterns. Do we agree with that?
I thought it was
okay.
a new seal.
See? Yeah, I thought it was a completely different location, completely different seal. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're thinking,
it could be,
Maureen? Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Because we still see the sky, right? And it's like, maybe that cave is underneath the eye of the world. But I got the sense that it was completely different. And what strengthens that sense for me is that we saw yet another seal in the cold open of the first episode, the Dark Friend Social. So
those were different. So I think that this, whatever, if they're located together, which I personally, so my belief is that yes, this is below the eye of the world, which is why Ishii can go down there, and that's where he's going to pull Lanfear out too, because that's where they're trapped. Like that's the physical, the bore, that whatever, and so that's how the cracking of the seal above broke him out, because he was only able to manifest himself in that little circle or whatever as a body, because that's where he was held. And so it wouldn't make sense that it would be partially broken and then he has to go somewhere else to get the rest of them. But I could see, you know what, maybe we'll just have to wait and see what happens to the next Forsaken.
Yep.
If the hole is bigger or different, or I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so I can agree with that. So you're saying that the eye of the world is the bore. That's where all the Forsaken are hidden and shielded or whatever, buried with the Dark One. And so Shamael's there getting her out.
There's one seal over the bore, and it's just we're incrementally breaking it is the idea.
Yeah.
Although, didn't Bail Doman last episode say that he retrieved that piece of Quendiar from a place near Cairhien?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And that's that had the blood poem and everything, where we talked about the Daughter of the Night.
Well, I wonder. Okay, so this makes sense almost that the seals are somewhere else, and that in order to get that final little opening, you have to go to the central location to where their bodies are stored. Maybe.
Yeah. Like it's a spider web, and you have to pull off the edge where it's attached to something.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's why like Lanfear is going to be the second Forsaken pulled out, because she's the next closest to
the surface,
the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what actually happens, because we kind of skipped ahead to speculating as to how it happened.
Oh yes.
But Shamael goes underneath this seal and begins speaking in the old tongue and channeling. And I think we learned through the course of this very episode that what he's chanting is the poem that Moiraine bought off of Bail Doman, that refers to the Daughter of the Night, Lanfear, the Forsaken.
Yes. Well, in that first sentence, you hear Lanfear.
Yes, you hear her name.
Those words, which is interesting.
So none of you speak the old tongue?
No, not yet.
No,
right.
And without the like technology, like without the whatchamacallit, captions, it's hard to really translate because it was so like not muddy, but it felt really weird. Like it sounded strange.
Yeah. We're not native speakers, so hearing someone who's fluent is tough.
Definitely not fluent, which is okay. You know what? It works out. I think I can't wait to see somebody translate it. Or no, we know what it is.
We know what it says, or
yeah,
roughly
never
what it
mind.
says.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Obviously. Yeah, we know the translation because Alana reads it at the end of the episode. Spoiler, I guess, but not. I don't know. Yeah.
At any rate,
we know what it says.
Yeah,
Anyways.
he channels, he breaks another part of the seal, and the flows coalesce down where he's standing, and they coalesce into a woman who is just covered with blood and is kind of unfolding and rising and stretching her bloody limbs and
and standing. So I don't know if you noticed, but she's standing on one foot and the other is so with her knees are bent and she's curled in and one foot is lifted, almost like a partial flamingo, which if you've ever stood like that, that's really hard. So I wonder if she was like held up with strings to be that solid, or if she's just that much of a badass.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
She's...
But yeah, it was so epic and just covered with blood. And Ishi comes in and is, blood feeds blood.
Yes.
Blood calls blood. Blood is as blood.
Blood is, blood was, and blood will ever be.
Bleh. Thank you. I cannot speak, obviously. Blood is, blood was, blood shall ever be. And, holds out his hand he's, gonna start dancing with her.
Yes, I chanted that with them.
She's
that
moving
part.
like a ballet dancer, which is absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I have to know if she has training.
Yeah,
she's got to have training of some sort.
It's both beautiful and creepy, which is great.
Yes, the blood made it for sure.
Yes.
So yeah, that's Lanfear. Who's Lanfear? I don't know. Just kidding. We know Lanfear is Selene. For anyone that doesn't know, though, what a great way to drop a little bit of foreshadowing, and then the recall in the future when it's pronounced that Selene is Lanfear, was just beautiful, amazing, loved it. All right, so that was the cold open. Once again, these cold opens not really they're part of the storytelling aspect, not necessarily like separate little bits of the story like season 1, which I think is really interesting. Let's hop on over to our favorite puppies.
I know what you did there.
Totally purposefully. We see poor Perrin is just so confused. He's running, or you see the wolves running, and Elias and Perrin are walking slower, and Hopper is just hanging out by Perrin. If you noticed, it looks like Marcus Rutherford is holding a leash that they've digitally removed.
Oh, that's funny.
I did not notice that.
Me neither.
Always has one of his hands are curled.
Huh.
And it changes hands depending on the side that Hopper is on. Yeah, so that was something I noticed, which was adorable. And that's why Hopper was hanging out with him.
And we thought it was just because he liked him.
Mm-hmm. But also that, of course, because he's a very good boy.
So here we get some good exposition, and Elias is finally giving Perrin some information on what's going on, and we get the term Wolf Brothers. And I love that Perrin says, "Are they also wolf brothers? Can we turn into them?" No, this isn't a werewolf situation. This is people who can talk with wolves.
That's all.
That's it. And not verbally talk with them. Their language are these hallucinations that Perrin has been having, these visions. And
hallucination seems like a strong word.
Well, maybe, when you walk into a room and you see all of these people who are then getting attacked by a fade, you might call it a hallucination.
Yeah, maybe.
But really, it's information being conveyed. And what we learn, which I thought was so cool, is that Perrin has been doing this for a while, unknowingly. He's been sending his thoughts, and the wolves know what happened to his wife. The wolves feel how sad he is. He's been dreaming about his dead wife every night, and the wolves are all aware of that, and they sympathize with him
because they've seen it too.
Yeah.
We all see her when we sleep.
Yeah. And then we learn this through one of the wolves who is further down sends a vision of a deer that's running. And hey, that's lunch. So
lunch has arrived.
Yes, everyone gathers. There is a deer who's been torn to pieces, and Perrin's the only one cooking his meat. And Elias tells him, you'll get over that soon, don't worry.
It was so cute, because the look on Perrin's face is just like, no. And then we learn a little bit, Perrin asks what the dog's name, or the wolf's name is, and Elias is just like, he'll show you when he's ready. And then a little bit later, he shows them.
It was so cute.
And it's so cute.
Just so cute.
He's jumping and leaping and catching the sky. And book readers know that this is because he wants to fly. Yeah. He dreams of flying. And so that's why his name is Hopper.
Or close enough.
Or close enough.
Says, close enough. His name is Hopper.
Which is so cute.
And I know we were wondering last episode is have we seen Hopper, who is in the books Perrin's friend? And sure enough, this is the named wolf character that is in this saga.
The bestest boy.
Bestest.
Absolute bestest. And that's all we get from Perrin. That's all.
Yep.
Just the important things. Hopper.
Yes.
So then we're going to talk about Alana and her warders and her bonus warder hanging out. Yep. It's so cute to see the family, to see Alana visiting her family. She's cooking. Ivan is helping. Maxim is playing with the kids. Which is so cute. Yes. Oh my gosh. And Lan has his hair down instead of in the top knot like normal. His long hair and he's wearing different clothing. He's looks more relaxed, even though he's definitely not more relaxed. And it's never more apparent than how much teasing Alana gets from her family. How much more straightforward and out of place Lan is. Especially when the siblings are like teasing. It's been a while since you've brought a new man home.
Where does he go?
You were slowing down in your old age. And where does the third one go now? And oh my gosh, Lan's face was so embarrassed. It was adorable.
I really enjoyed that scene, and I'd love to hear Priyanka talk about this scene if we ever get a chance to interview her about it.
Yes.
Because except for the architecture of the home, that was just bringing me major flashbacks to visiting India. And getting together at one of the one of my relatives that lives out on the outskirts, and just eating outside. Everybody's kind of collectively sitting outdoors and joking and laughing, and the whole family is there, all generations there, and the sisters and I don't know the other relations look like well, they look like people in India, and it was lovely for me to see. So, yeah.
That's so nice. That vibe was the same.
Totally familial vibe there that was very recognizable. And then you were saying Lan is relaxed. He's so relaxed, we see him take a piss on a tree. What did you make of that? Why did Rafe have that scene in there? What was it trying to show us?
I think it's showing that the only time, specifically with what Alana and Lan talk about after, it's a way to show that Lan is never able to be alone. We saw in season 1 what happened when a warder that no longer has his Aes Sedai is left alone. And you can see that their experience with this kind of interception, maybe is the word. I'm not sure. But
or intervention,
yeah, intervention. It's great how Lan is like, Ivan and Maxim must be busy.
yeah.
Go ahead.
For me, I also I thought it was drawing a very deliberate contrast with, Moiraine as a Kirianan is very sort of straight-laced, uptight, prissy, and all business, and Alana is very earthy by contrast, and Lan has adopted Alana's culture, at least temporarily. He is a part of this, and like you said, his hair is down, he's dressed differently. It's no longer tight like with Moiraine.
Yes, and even though part of it looks like he's just pretending, he's not really like fully embraced it, but he knows the game that has to be played.
Like he's worldly enough to understand that these are the customs here, this is how I should act so as to not draw attention. Blending in like a warder would. He needs to infiltrate, he needs to be unseen, he needs to be there to protect, so he's still holding on to those warder responsibilities, I think. Just trying to be, God, I can't even think of the word, circumspect.
And he's trying to figure out his place. And I think the fact that, Alana recognizes that and is like, hey, I don't think you're going to kill yourself. Your bond wasn't ripped from you. She took it. Which is so, yes, exactly. And that's why, he's acting the way that he is without it being necessarily I need to kill myself type of a situation. I think too, well, first off, we need to comment again on this hair, which is what Daniel Henney was commenting on about the long hair in our interview. Definitely, he pulls it off.
Yes.
And I love that he still has the Hodori.
Yes.
Yep.
It's still part of his life, obviously.
Yeah.
He's not going to take it off. That is very much the Malkiri energy, vibes, culture.
Yeah.
But he's still going to try and relax. Even though Ivan doesn't have hair, Maxim does, and Maxim's hair is down and loose.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, this is the role I'm going to play.
Yeah. Well, it made me wonder, who is Lan then? We've seen Lan under Moiraine. We've seen Lan, at least with Alana. And if he's adapting, deliberately or otherwise, who is he on his own? And, one of the questions that we're all wondering about is, who is he with Nynaeve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope
Lan is on his own journey to find himself.
Yeah, I hope the vision that we saw in the testing for Nynaeve was accurate. Like he would just be a cook, just sit there, cook dinner for Nynaeve and his daughter.
I hope.
No.
Come on. That's all right. That's all right. These are very modern, enlightened men who do not have the sort of the male tropes that we associate with high fantasy. So
yes,
maybe.
Well, especially because he is going to contribute to the group however he can, and that includes when he was in the imaginary world. Almost like he is a protector.
Yeah.
He's a giver. He's a supporter. He will do what needs to be done, which includes cooking dinner.
Yay.
It includes talking to Alana. It includes letting Ivan and Maxim follow him around, including into his room, all over the place. But this moment with Alana, I think, is extra special because she's alone with him. And Alana's trying to figure out what Lan's going to do. Yeah. He's lost. And Alana knows, though. I wonder if Moiraine told Alana about Nynaeve.
I'm absolutely positive that's what happened.
And that's why...
she doesn't beat around the bush too much. She tells him straight out. Nynaeve's going through the Arches. She's going to need a warder.
Yeah.
And fastest anyone has done since Cadsuane Sedai. So Cadsuane gets another name drop.
Yeah. Do we have confirmation of Cadsuane's casting? I know there was some online dialogue about it, but I don't know if we've confirmed that.
No, it has not been confirmed. There's definitely speculation that it is what's her name from
The Expanse.
The Expanse.
From The Expanse,
yeah. That's a pretty. It would surprise me if it was not her,
right.
But again, who knows?
Yeah. Okay, just an aside.
Well, it's definitely not confirmed, and definitely not this season for sure, because they would tell us. But also, she was only seen in Prague for season 3.
Okay.
So it wouldn't have been season 2.
Okay.
All right. That aside, so Alana also drops this idea that she wishes Lan knew Moiraine before. They were bonded.
Yeah.
And we're not quite sure. Like, Lan even asks, was she happier back then, or is she happy? And Alana doesn't know. But there was a change where she became more frozen, like an icy version of herself. And I think we can guess from what we know, even just in the show, that this is when Moiraine and Siuan learned about the Dragon Reborn. About that prophecy, and that prophecy was going to be fulfilled in their lifetime, which put that burden on Moiraine, which launched her onto a 20-year quest.
Which it's interesting, I think, how important that moment was to everybody, really.
Yeah.
You're coming in with totally changing a personality that Alana has seen.
Yes.
And so from this we can guess that obviously Alana and Moiraine knew each other before. We can guess that means that they were probably accepted around the same time, which means they knew each other. Like, were in some of the same classes, like grew up almost together.
They went to school together. They were
yes. Which is why Moiraine trusts Alana with her warder, because even though Moiraine, cut off those ties, she still cares for Lan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Even if she hurt him extremely deeply.
Yeah.
Which obviously it deeply scarred him because of the moment that comes in the future where they're meditating. But we're not quite there yet because Maxim comes into Lan's room while Lan is reading the poem that he stole from Moiraine, which, like, let's talk about the fact that he stole something off of her horse. I'm sure for her own good, you know, he's protecting her in the way that he does, but also that seems so out of character. But obviously it needed to happen for the plot, so, you know, it's going to happen.
I don't know if it stands up to a lot of scrutiny, because Alana has to both translate and explain the letter, which we'll get to. But I don't know how much Lan understood what he was seeing when he swiped it. Which makes me wonder why he swiped it, which, you know, like I said, I'm not sure it stands up to scrutiny, at least with what we know. But suffice to say, it's a device that allows us to learn about it at just the right time.
Yep. And we learn, you know, that they have definitely done this protecting of a warder before. Like, because Maxim is talking about, you know, usually the first few weeks after the bond is broken, well, I don't need to tell you. And I think the way that he said that, it sounds even deeper than what happened with Kareem's warder, who I can't remember his name. Steppen. With what happened to Steppen. Like, it seems like this is something that they've done more often than just with Steppen. So I don't know if that's something that, like, everyone knows that Alana helps protect, you know, Alana's warders will help, you know, save a warder or something. I'm not sure. But we also learn that Maxim has also has a ton of experience with a bond being masked. Which is interesting.
So he had his own difficulties adjusting, and Alana agreed to mask the bond, except under some circumstances, combat
in battle
sex.
Or in bed.
But otherwise, he wanted it fuzzed. He wanted to be alone in his head. He wanted his privacy, and Lana's kind of shocked. He said, "Did the tower know about this? Like, it's a very taboo sort of thing." And Maxim points out, you know, he doesn't say this. He doesn't directly compare a warder bond to a marriage, but, you know, he mentions it in the same breath and says, "Are any two marriages the same? No. Everyone finds their own way of accommodating each other, dealing with each other's needs, and you know, what passes between a warder and his Aes Sedai is what passes between them. It's not for anyone else to pass judgment on." So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. It was so neat to kind of see that take place and kind of just be like, look, you know, whatever is going to happen with us is going to happen. So, you know, you are a master of your own, you know, destiny type of a vibe.
And to that point, he says that he himself, Maxim himself, is proof that Lan could come back to Moiraine if he wants to. So he's keeping that idea open that, hey, on the other side of this, you may not want to go back to the way it was.
Yeah, especially with the layover almost of the idea that Nynaeve is going through the arches.
Yep. Because,
of course, he knows what the arches are. He is very familiar with what happens in, you know, the tower. And so he knows that he could have more of a purpose
Right.
pretty soon, which I think is going to make him question some things.
Yeah. And I think ordinarily Lan's character is such that he would not forswear his oaths and duty to Moiraine, but Moiraine has engineered it so that Lan knows he is not wanted by her.
Yeah.
And she's done that deliberately to put him in a position where he gets what he wants out of life, which is wonderful, and it's terrible at the same time because of how much she had to hurt him in order to let him be in love.
Yeah, so sad.
Which we learn how much she hurt him in the next scene with Ivan. Well, I mean, Maxim is there too
For 10 minutes.
For the
He
first
meditates
10 minutes.
for 10 minutes and then he leaves.
I don't know if you could really call that meditating. He seemed pretty antsy from the start.
He had his legs folded. He was sitting the way
he was trying.
Yeah.
He was trying. It was really cute, though,
It
to
was
see
so
him
cute.
try.
It's funny how Ivan and Lan are casting themselves as the old men in the group.
Yes.
Because, they don't really look it, but that's all right.
Yeah. It was adorable. I loved it. And this is the moment now where Lan and Ivan kind of sit and bond. And I love this conversation about, those of us being quiet, the quiet ones. We're quiet because the conversations always play out in our heads.
Yeah.
And he's just like acknowledging the fact that, hey, I get it. You're going to constantly be questioning everything that was said, everything that you thought you believed, like what that means, what exists in all of these steps. And I think it's sad that Ivan understands.
Yeah.
But then also the the laugh that he made when Lan goes, she said that all these years she never considered me an equal. It's like, of course not. Duh.
Yeah, but Ivan's not a king.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I mean, even though technically Lan he's uncrowned and not acknowledging the fact that he's a king. So, I don't know. He doesn't want to be a king.
Yeah. Well,
he could be a king if he wanted to, and he's not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the fact that he's
Ivan
arrogant
goes
enough to imply that he's equals with Moiraine has got to mean something.
Well, I think it's mainly because they worked together. They made decisions together. That is what I think he means. Not necessarily that his status is the same so much as they had a partnership. They had a friendship type of a bond. And this just goes to show that, haha, just kidding. Yeah.
You're a servant who failed me is how Moiraine cast it. And that hurt Lan. And and Ivan seems to be saying that, well, of course you're a servant. But he also goes on to say that the warders are the ones who remind the Aes Sedai that they are not,
gods.
perfect gods.
Yeah.
Do they use the word gods? Because
Maxim.
That is an interesting
so.
thing because religion in this land is, at best monotheistic. The creator.
Yeah.
But
it changed. It obviously without subtitles, it's 100% difficult to say.
Yeah.
But I think that he said gods.
Fair
but
enough.
Again, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And I am more than willing to accept and acknowledge any mistakes that are made. But it sounded like gods.
I wrote down in my notes gods as well. So
okay.
I think that's what it was. But at any rate, they're not omnipotent. They're not omniscient. They are fallible, and warders are supposed to remind them of that.
They're there to help and support. So of course they're not equals, and I think that's a little bit of a come to Jesus meeting, almost.
Yeah.
Especially because Ivan asks, what does Moiraine want? Regardless of what you as a warder want, what does Moiraine want? And the fact that she doesn't know, or he doesn't know, because like that bond has become so difficult. And
well, Ivan, that question was predicated on Ivan's statement that said that we want the same thing Alanna wants. Very simply, the triumph of the light over the dark. They are aligned on the mission. Yeah, is what they're saying. And Lan thought the same thing. For 20 years, they've been searching for the dragon reborn, and they are going to shepherd the dragon, keep the dragon safe, and find the dragon before the dark can. That was their mission for the last 20 years. They shared it. And now Moiraine ditched him. So Lan naturally doesn't know what she wants. Why would you chase me away when for the last 20 years we've been working towards the same goal? And what he doesn't realize is she's doing it for him.
That we think.
We think. He doesn't know that, but come on.
No.
We know that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Are we done with Lan? I mean, not really done with Lan.
Well,
let's be honest.
Now
we'll
we're going to the note, the poem, right?
Yes, because we're gonna head over to Alanna. Alanna and Maxim sneak into Lan's room.
Ivan was distracting Lan.
And I think Maxim, is never into meditating, but probably chose to attempt to meditate with them to make sure that Lan just didn't even think that he was doing something sneaky or whatever. 100%. He's going to do his normal.
100%.
Yeah. And goes to get Alanna, I found it interesting that Maxim brought Alanna, and Alanna is the one that dug through Lan's bag.
Yep.
Because it could have been easy for Maxim to just take the note to Alanna, but instead he is like, this is where it is. This is what you need to see, and I'm going to let you do what you need to.
Sometimes the one with the authority needs to do it, because otherwise someone might draw steel on that. But
exactly, and she finds the poem and starts reading it, and the overlay of the audio was so creepy.
Yep.
Of it sounded very similar to the audio that Ishii says in the beginning, because obviously the poem's the same.
Yep, we hear a faint voiceover of that poem. In fact,
very ghostly, very spooky, and Alanna's face says that it's very spooky.
And we learn that Lanfear is free. Lanfear, the Forsaken, one of the lieutenants of the Dark One, is free and
daughter
walking
of the
world.
night. She walks again.
Yeah.
And that's spooky. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit more about Lanfear coming up in a little bit. But I am loving how much of Alanna we have in this season.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Now we rejoin.
Take to the top.
Yeah, we rejoin. Is this where we rejoin Min?
Yes.
And Matt on the road, and Matt is gambling and losing. That doesn't happen, right? But it does happen so far. That's how he gets himself into trouble usually. But he's flirting with Min. Min's not having it, and Min goes over to the to the innkeeper and gets 2 rooms, not 1.
Yes.
But also mentions that she wants the attic room, and someone is going to meet them, or meet her there. And she doesn't know who it's going to be, but that person is going to ask for the attic as well. And that's how she will know that that's her contact. Leandrin had sent her here with Matt.
To meet up with somebody, and she prepays for a large number of drinks for Matt because she wants to make sure that he's wasted.
Yep. And then we get a dream. Min seems to be dreaming of what book readers know are her aunts, forcing her into doing some fortune telling for various people who are willing to pay to have their fortunes told, and each of these people have some horrible fate in store for them, and Min sees all of it, and she's just overwhelmed by seeing the future, seeing people's future.
Because you see a woman who asks if it's going to be true love, and it's definitely not, because she's like holding injuries, and then a little kid is like, "What will I be? Will I be? Oh gosh, will I be successful or whatever when I grow up?" And
no,
you find out
you're
that
a skeleton.
Nope. Yeah, you're dead. You're dead.
You're gonna die. Yeah.
And Min just like scrunches up and tries to get as small as possible to just be like, I can't handle this anymore. This is why I ran away, type of a thing. And then you hear a very familiar voice.
So visiting her in the fortune-telling hut is the Forsaken Ishamael. And he says, "Isn't it nice not to see a vision around me?" Because indeed she can't. And she's scared. She's now in this too deep, and she knows she doesn't want to be dealing with who she thinks this person is. And he kind of laughs at her and says, "What, did you think Leandrin and Aes Sedai could heal you of your curse, these visions? No. Sometimes you need to go farther than that." And so, deal with the devil, sort of thing. You are going to do what I want. You are going to hurt people. You will probably give Matt to me too, and I'm the one who can stop your visions. And Ishamael then tells Min, "Here's what I want you to do." And this took me by surprise. He wants Min to take Matt to Carrion and not Falm, like we have so many other people converging on, or at least we have Perrin's band and we'll get to it, but Nynaeve's band going towards the west where the invaders are coming. But no, he wants Matt to go to Carrion.
Yes.
We're not sure why yet.
Probably to meet up with Rand. I'm sure that's exactly like what
friendly reunion.
Yeah, be like, "Oh, we want to get you with your friend."
Well, it's interesting because Min had that vision that he would be stabbing Rand.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is one of Ishamael's little ploys. If that future is something that he's trying to orchestrate.
Yeah, and it's entirely possible. I don't know for sure, but I really enjoyed how much Min did not want to betray Matt, which I think it was nice to see that.
Yeah.
Because it would have been so easy to just be like, okay, especially with, she's giving up so much to, follow Leandrin's requests.
Yep.
And unfortunately, she's learned to like Matt.
Of course.
which
his
happens.
charm is not, yes, she's not completely immune to his charm, which is nice. Because Matt is supposed to be a very charming guy.
And Donald Finn is absolutely nailing the charm. All of these little moments are just fantastic. And I can't wait for more Matt, because that's all we got.
That's all we get for this
Matt
episode.
Yep.
Short Perrin, short Matt.
Yeah.
Long jacket.
Nice. It works on 2 levels. All right.
Yes. All right, so we are going to go back to the White Tower, maybe.
The White Tower. Lots of things happening there, obviously.
Yeah, including feedback from Nynaeve's, traumatic episode, shall we say.
Yeah.
And she is still traumatized. She's lying in bed. She is thinking, hearing the voices of her daughter. Yes. Then she has a knock on the door, and on her way to the door, she has to grab the ring. So yes, she is accepted. Yeah. We didn't see the formal acceptance, but sure enough, she came back from the Arches. She's now an accepted of the White Tower, with the ring to prove it.
And she's basically left the ring on the table. She doesn't want to hold it because she's emotional. She's missing her daughter. She's still hit by the fact that she lived for years, like she said. She lived for years with this life, and then suddenly it's gone. And she's just overwhelmed and doesn't want to, she doesn't know how to handle Egwene.
Yeah.
And Egwene doesn't know how to handle her.
Well, she gives her a big hug, and Nynaeve has trouble returning that hug.
Yeah.
Is it because of the trauma, or is it because of what she overheard Egwene say? And, the way she got through her testing was to realize she's not here for Egwene. She's here for herself. She has a purpose of her own. So what is their relationship now? They're no longer wisdom and apprentice. They're no longer wisdom and protege that she's trying to protect. They are 2 women who have a history together, but their purpose isn't tied together.
Yeah, and that's hard. Everyone is learning. Everyone is growing, and she just doesn't. They're learning more about each other.
Yes,
they're learning more about themselves.
Yeah. Well, Nynaeve still might be clinging to the memories. If she lived 8 years in the Arches, then there was mention of Egwene going north with the other Greens. So she was still friends, still corresponding with Egwene, watching her grow. And then it's all of a sudden you go back 8 years and you have this little girl still. It would be just really difficult to process.
That's a great point.
That's a very good point. And even though it wasn't 8 years for Egwene, she's still trying to figure out how to deal with it and using Elaine as kind of a friend and sounding board to work through these things. And Elaine is handling it so beautifully. It's almost like she got therapy training as a princess.
She's a very good mediator. She's
yes,
and she's a very good friend. She's patient.
Yeah, and learning, it's impressive that she is such a good friend for having not much experience with friends.
Yeah.
Which I think is really nice.
Yeah. I think we got a hint of that too, of the kind of why that's probably driving the character. That Elaine didn't even expect that she'd be kept with the other novices. She expected that everything would still be like she was as the daughter heir, probably very isolated, friendless as she described it. she has the opportunity to have a friend right now, a real friend. And, you know, she's going to leverage all of her skills to be that friend, because this may be the last opportunity she has for that kind of a connection.
Yes. Yeah, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah, it's so cute.
It's really cute. And Nynaeve, looks like Nynaeve is then going to go try and find warders, see if she can beat up people to, you know, feel better about herself, get an exercise. And instead, a very hot, shirtless man comes and flirts, but not really flirts. Like,
he's fanboying. He's fanboying over her. So this young warder in training, you know, said, "Hey, I heard you channeled when you were doing your test. Oh my God, everybody's talking about it." And, you know, he tries to put himself forward like, you know, when it comes time for you to choose, hi, my name is...
We don't catch
his name. Right. And she's not having it. And, you know, he's like implying, I hope you don't choose the red. And Leandrin's, of course, spying on everything, and she smirks. Especially when Nynaeve just kind of walks off coldly. Says, I still got a chance.
Yeah. And Nynaeve is just so confused because she was basically ignored for a lot of the time. I mean, not by the Aes Sedai, but, you know, by the warders. She was just there working with Maxim and Ivan, and they never, you know, no one else ever really paid attention to her. And now suddenly here's somebody like going crazy for her. And it's just like, oh, wait, what? What? I don't want to be treated any differently. I want to go back. I don't know how to deal with this. And so she goes to the place that most Aes Sedai never attend, never visit again.
Right.
But before that, we see Leanne get a letter.
Yes.
I wonder what it says.
The postal service here is magnificent.
So
a lot
amazing.
of things being shared. But Leandrin gets some communication that is probably about the same thing. And Leandrin goes to confront Leanne about these invaders who are coming in.
On the western shore.
Thom.
That's always under attack.
Yeah, that was funny. But Leandrin's on the attack, and she kind of jabs Leanne in several directions, including trying to pry information about where the Amyrlin is.
Yeah.
And, you know, Leanne
which this fancy little word play is exactly what we're looking for the Aes Sedai.
Yes.
Absolutely. And, you know, instead of saying where the Amyrlin is, Leanne says, well, while she's gone, I speak with the voice of the Amyrlin, so, you know, she's right here. So Leandrin's not getting anything out of Leanne, but there is this political situation, and you know, why it's being kept hush-hush, why it's not being discussed in committee is something I'm interested in finding out, because it is a threat.
And the fact that it's not being brought up in the hall means a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's, it's interesting. And I absolutely love the coat that Leanne is wearing.
Nice.
It's so gorgeous and epic and looks cozy, but still like really impressive. I cannot wait for a pattern to come because I need somebody to make that for me. The crisscrossing origami almost look at the top, like in the front, is just so neat. It's so cool. So after talking with Leandrin goes to find Nynaeve, who is in the place where most Aes Sedai refuse to set foot in ever again.
Yeah.
And they have a little bonding moment.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm starting to... At this point, before I could believe that Leandrin had some sort of sympathies or, feeling like she could be an ally to Nynaeve, like a genuine ally. Now it feels like she's just playing at being one.
Absolutely.
She's saying all the right things to comfort Nynaeve. Even says, the one power, it's a curse for the men who can channel, sure, but it's a curse for us too. Our aging slows, and we have to watch our loved ones age while we remain young. And this is hot off the heels of Nynaeve learning about Leandrin's son, and she goes ahead and makes herself vulnerable. She talks about that a little bit, and some of the things that we were speculating on. Why did she keep him? Why did she keep him secret? Why did she keep him so close? Well, she did that selfishly because what Leandrin says keeps her kind of centered and sane is to find something that she can hold on to that's hers and hers alone. And for her, it was her son. And when that thing is gone, you find another thing to hold on to. But she's also priming Nynaeve.
Yes.
Because Nynaeve is also wisdom of the two rivers, and the things she holds on to, as we know from her accepted testing, is her people. And her people are in trouble.
Yeah, and Leandrin basically sets up the tea because and is ready for that final shot because Leandrin's going to tell her about the secret that nobody else wants to learn or talk about. They don't want to talk about the fact that there's invaders in the west, and a group of Shinarian soldiers were captured and included an ogier and a blacksmith from the two rivers. I wonder who it is.
What a coincidence. I know a blacksmith from the two rivers.
Who's traveling with an ogier.
So, yeah, I mean, so just dropping this information.
Yeah.
Nynaeve, the people who you consider under your protection are in trouble from invaders on the West Coast. What do you want to do about it? Leave it to you.
Yeah, which is such a delicate way to manage a stubborn Two Rivers person, shall we say? Because it's basically setting it up to where Nynaeve is the one that's making the decision.
Absolutely.
Not, hey, I need to do this for you. I need, you need to do this.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm just so going to, give this opportunity. If you really care about your, your people, you'll come and help me. I have a way that you can come and help. So peace out. Go pack. And I wonder if Leandrin says, don't tell anybody, or if she just kind of leaves it open in a hopes that Nynaeve will tell Egwene, which of course Nynaeve does, and tells Elaine to get out of her own room.
Yeah. So predictable.
So predictable. Absolutely predictable.
And unfortunately, that is the flaw that occurred in Leandrin's plan. So, as Nynaeve tells Egwene about this and says, "Now I don't expect you to come with me," and Egwene's, "Of course I'm coming with you. I care about our people too. These are my friends too." So they take their secret passage out of the tower, And, of course, Elaine has been listening and follows
Yep.
them. And when finally Leandrin appears, she says, "Oh, you're a problem." And decides to knock them all out with the one power.
And we learn, too, why Egwene is still there and trying so hard. And it's because that she doesn't want to fail. She feels like she failed Rand. If she had been trained, she could have gone to... Even though Moiraine said that you would die.
Yep.
She still is like, no, I could have saved him.
Yeah.
And
Moiraine didn't die, so...
well, and neither did Rand.
Well,
so,
she doesn't know that.
We know that.
But,
yeah.
Right.
Well, she doesn't know... Does she know that Moiraine is still alive, too?
Yeah, because she was told by Moiraine that Rand is gone.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. And then Leandrin basically shoves them all against the wall. They all pass out. And we know that Leandrin is not a good person.
And I've been wanting to say this forever.
I know.
She uses the one power as a weapon.
She's a dark friend.
Yes.
She's Black Aja.
Yeah. Well, we know that already. She's been orchestrating all sorts of things with the Shamael. And, I mean, this is... I don't know how much more confirmation we want out of this, but she is certainly doing nefarious things on behalf of the Dark One. And it's probably, we in one of the earlier episodes... it was emphasized that, hey, dark friends have reasons too. And we know some of Leandrin's anguish, over her son, over having something that is her own, and being able to hold on to that. There is something that the Dark One has promised her, or, one of his proxies has promised her. And so as good as Leandrin is at manipulating others, she is also being manipulated.
Yes. And all sorts of strings are dangling.
Yeah. I've got more
all over the place.
Conspiracy theories, but we might need to save this for the book section.
Very good.
Excellent. We'll make a note of that.
All right. I think that wraps up our White Tower segment. So... Now we head to Carrion?
Yeah.
All right.
Which I thought this was such a beautiful way to embrace this strange woman who we previously saw at a party. She's an older lady and is just like clearly, high ranking, has money, sitting, playing with her makeup, puts a wig on, beautiful wig, is dressed, and goes to sit and lounge, with her morning whatever she's drinking, maybe port. I don't know. What alcohol do you drink in the morning?
I don't know.
I don't know. But the servant comes in.
That's her morning Sazerac, I think.
Yeah. Her Usqua.
Yeah.
The servant comes in and looks absolutely like, I don't know what to do, but hey, your older sister's here.
Yeah.
And preps in the sitting room, and here comes Moiraine.
Who is not even sitting down. She's sweeping through saying, hey, did you keep my old room? I need my old room back. And, I'm going to need this, this, and this. You got some gilded and red? So that wine, and we know who's a fan of that wine. So we know where she's heading after this. But, she just sweeps through, and she hasn't seen, this is her little sister, who looks much older than her. And this is a little... callback in parallel with what we heard from Leandrin, that you will stay young and your relatives will grow old and die. And certainly this is the case, and Moiraine is not ready to face this, not ready to get close, have a relationship with her sister, because she's already said, you know what, I'm going to outlive you.
Yeah.
And her sister isn't having it. So we should call her by name, too.
It's been
Lady Olvert.
decades.
Yeah.
Yes, Lady Olvert. It's been decades, Moiraine. Sit and have tea. And Moiraine is like, perhaps lunch.
Yes.
And like, bye. And I think it's a balance between Moiraine being Aes Sedai and like she has her purpose. You know, she's the blue Aes Sedai. She's got her goal. She's here for a reason. Mm-hmm. But also as an older sister too. She's probably always kind of managed her little sister.
Yep.
And it's not going to change, even though she's back in her, family estate, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, should we jump forward a little bit with that? Because I think it's important. Moiraine does sweep in, like she's still the older sister, the one with authority, and as an Aes Sedai, perhaps she is. But later on, Lady Olvert says, you know what? This is not your home. This is not your country. It's mine. I rebuilt this. When our uncle, our disastrous uncle, kind of fell, then it was our father looked to you to rebuild everything, but you weren't there. Mm-hmm. You didn't come back. It was on me, and I did it. All of those spies you have, the man at the gates, the orderly in the sanitarium that Moiraine visits in the middle of the episode, those aren't your eyes and ears. They're my eyes and ears. Yeah. I'm the one who stayed. I'm the one with influence. You want to use that influence? You sit down and have tea with me.
Yeah.
Which is great. Really nice. I loved having Moiraine put in her place.
Yes,
this way
it was. It was nice to see.
She's been riding roughshod over everyone.
Uh-huh.
And, granted, she's got her reasons. She is at the end of her rope. But just like it was a warder's job to show an Aes Sedai that she's not omnipotent, she's not one of the gods, Moiraine needed a reality check that she can't do everything alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially when she tries to manipulate and manage Logain, too.
Yes.
That's
why she wanted the
wine.
Gilded Red. Yeah.
Yep. And is like, hey, are you going to train him? And tries to convince him that, you can have this wine if you train him. But really, he knows.
He spills that
what
wine
he
again. Oh. By the way, I'm going to call it, because of the actor, I'm going to say that wine is a Tempranillo, a Spanish Tempranillo, probably a Rioja. So that's my call on that wine.
Okay.
But anyway.
That works.
Yep.
Anyway.
Definitely. I'll believe you.
Thank you.
I don't really drink red wine, so I have no opinions.
But yeah, Moiraine has interesting leverage on Logain now.
Is going to give her a knife, or give him a knife to kill himself after she's satisfied with his
that
progress.
Rand has learned all of the channeling that he can learn. This is some crazy stuff. And Moiraine is being absolutely ruthless here. And it shows just how at the end of her rope she is.
Yeah.
Even her hair is kind of like bristling out like a cat that's just in a fury.
And her face too, her expressions she's getting more and more at the end of her rope because nobody is talking to her. And then she learns why no one's talking to her.
Yeah.
Because her sister owns it all.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we'll leave it for Moiraine. She does make another appearance at the end.
Right.
But we're going to circle back to who Moiraine is looking for.
Yeah.
And why he's not there.
Well, I think one thing we should say is, finally after presumably having tea with her sister, she does learn that Rand was in in an inn in the foregate. And she goes there, and the inn has been burned down, and she doesn't get anything from the guard as to where he might have gone. So she's got to ask her sister about this.
Yep.
Cut to the next scene.
Well, yeah. The beginning, Rand's cleaning up the mess, and Selene is sad because she can't charge him room and board anymore if he builds her in again. Which I thought was entertaining. And it's like, hey, I am going... There's nobody here while it gets rebuilt. I'm going to run away to my family cabin.
Yeah,
Kinslayer's dagger. You want to come with me?
And Rand refuses. He cannot be flirted with. And, whatever. All right. No,
but maybe Matt is better with girls.
That's better. Yeah.
We know Perrin is.
Yeah, Perrin definitely.
Yes. That's the fun thing from the book, fun reference from the book. But truly, Rand does not know what he's doing, and
no.
She's clearly carrying this relationship. Selene is, but finally he does agree, and they go out and they go camping, and it's nice and peaceful. They can look, and Celine's still hung up on her ex. She says, "Yeah, I lied. This wasn't a family cabin. I used to come up here with a man, and these are the
like
memories."
That Rand was like, "You don't have to tell me. We promise no past." And Celine's like, "That's easy for you. You're too young to have one.
Yes.
You'd be surprised."
And then, Rand says you'd be surprised, and then the look on Celine's face, she just kind of smothers it quickly, but she doesn't like the idea that Rand has his own past.
Yep.
And Selene is waxing rhapsodic about her ex, who is someone who's arrogant and powerful, and all of these things, and Rand is saying, "Yeah, I don't know, life isn't giving me anything." He's moping, and Selene, of course, then says, "Hey, if you want something out of this world, you have to take it." Kissy, 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 all good.
Gently kissing.
Yeah.
This is the most delicate.
This is the most tender. Yeah. There's one other tender moment between them, but it ends too soon. But anyway, so they camp, and Rand wakes up in the middle of the night, and sure enough, we see the special effects are so cool here. A fade does materialize out of the shadows and fights him. Rand has his sword, but the fade disarms
doesn't
him.
have his sword.
Yes. And then Selene is woken up. She's the one who warns him, actually. She screams. And Rand is the chivalrous guy who says, "Get behind me. I'm going to defend you." And then the weaves of power roll from behind him, and they're his weaves, and he burns that fade to ash. And Selene is such a good actor here. She's shocked.
So convincing.
Yeah.
So
she's
convincing.
And Rand says, "Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry about this. I know that the first thing a man who channels does is kills the people he loves, so I have to get away from you." She goes, "Oh, you love me?" So, all is forgiven. And she does this really well. So Rand is so much in turmoil for being a man who can channel and feeling like he has to hide this part of himself. And she says, "For a while, I was never accepted. All of me. And why don't you just give me the chance? I want to love you for all of you." And that is exactly what Rand needs to hear at that point.
Yeah. She's the master manipulator, even more than Leandrin is.
She's seduced him emotionally.
Yep.
And leads him into the cabin. And, that kiss was a little too tender, so now she's going to tie him to the bed.
Let's do a little bondage. Yeah.
Just a little, light play there. And so, while she's got him where she wants him, she says, there's something you should know, Rand. I'm a monster too. Yeah. And you start to see this shimmer of the power, and I'm not quite sure what she was going to do, or if she was going to change her appearance or something. Maybe.
I'm wondering if she's going to, become Lanfear. But also, I wonder if you didn't see the power because it was from Rand's point of view. So you just see, essence vibrating around.
Maybe.
But before you can see anything happen, she gets a sword through the chest, and then Moiraine comes up behind and completely,
slits her throat,
almost,
ear to ear.
Yeah, practically, beheads her.
Yeah.
That was so shocking.
And so shocking.
Big surprise.
I was not expecting that at all. And Rand is obviously angry.
But of course Moiraine first has to kind of cut his bonds.
Yeah.
Before he can take her by the throat and then threaten to channel at her. But then Moiraine says,
"You killed her."
Yeah. And no, I can't have killed her because she's Lanfear. She's been lying to you. She's the Forsaken, and we need to run. And
she lied to you, which I never can.
Yes.
Oh, so good. And Rand is like, "Oh, okay." Grabs his sword, grabs his coat, runs out of the cabin, and you shift down to a bloody-faced Lanfear, or Selene, who then becomes Lanfear because she blinks and
she starts
alive.
healing. So Wolverine right there.
Yep. And that's the episode. And holy cow, so much happens. So much, such great exposition. Again, little bits, building these stories. The writers have just done an incredible job weaving these in and figuring out who to show, who not to. I think the lot, not having Moiraine last episode helped the fact that she was traveling.
Yeah.
You're not seeing her travel.
Right.
She's making it all the way to Carrion and
And, so this is a cliffhanger for us as well. We haven't seen past this point. And I'm just wondering what now, because they have to run away from Lanfear. Moiraine wants a teacher for Rand, so are they going to scoop him up and start running? What do they do next?
Yeah. How do you outrun one of the Forsaken?
Right.
Yeah. Who can obviously find you.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. Oof. All right, well, let's slip into the book spoilers. So here is the spoiler horn, as per usual. Right. All right, so do we want to talk about Lanfear?
Lanfear first?
First?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, this is an echo of Book 5, actually, where Moiraine learns that through some prophetic things. In this case, it's a prophetic poem. Before it was, both the prophecies of Ruidian and the Elfin and the Ylfin and the answers they give. But she knows that it's important to take Lanfear off the board, or Rand will. The next time she sees Rand, he will be serving the Dark One, serving her, really, and serving the Dark One that way. So she knows that she's got to take on the suicidal mission to save Rand from Lanfear. And this was the scene that echoes that. And there seems to be some genuine danger for next episode because, like we all said, we don't know how she can escape this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So now that we have a female channeler from the Age of Legends, if she catches up with Rand and Moiraine, is she going to like challenge Moiraine to a duel and then maybe lift the shield? Like, hey, I want to see what you can do. Kind of like, a cat playing with a mouse. Like, let her run just a little bit, so she's going to free her, let her channel. But then,
there's an idea.
Maybe Moiraine can outwit her somehow.
Maybe. Yeah, that, or, she is severed and can't.
Yeah, that's possible.
Or the person who shielded her is Lanfear's boss for, for all intents and purposes.
Lanfear would like to say that no, she doesn't have a boss that is currently present. It's only the Dark One because she is the most dangerous of the Forsaken. So screw you, Ishii.
Yeah, but she won't say that in front of him.
No, of course not. Of course not. No.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing is Ishamael is orchestrating Min to bring Mat to Carrion. So I don't know if we have a confrontation that involves Mat, Min, Rand, Moiraine, Lanfear, and Ishamael, or maybe not Ishamael, but definitely Lanfear, and how that goes. Part of how Moiraine disposed of Lanfear in the books was to send her through an Ungriel, a doorframe Ungriel, into a different world. We talked about that last episode. And with Mat coming in here, I wonder if there's going to be something similar here. There's a one-way door somewhere. And both Mat and Lanfear go through.
Oh, so Mat would be the one to push her in instead of Moiraine?
Maybe.
Oh, interesting.
And then Mat gets to have his little adventure.
Yeah, and then because they're not going to get rid of Moiraine like they did in the books for 4 books, however long she was gone. Like you're not going to do that in a show when Rosamund Pike is such a big star.
Top billing.
However, though, she has only signed up for the 3 seasons, and so there's a chance that she'll be gone and then come back, maybe in the future.
Why has somebody else signed up for season 4? Was that a little hint?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I just know that
here we're trying to milk spoilers out of Kathy.
Yep.
That I don't have. That I don't have. All I know is that the contract that Moiraine did was for the first 3 episodes. So I don't know if there's so many different ways that this could go.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we've had 2 name drops of Cadsuane, and Cadsuane appeared because Moiraine was gone. Essentially, or at least the role of having an Aes Sedai who could shepherd Rand and could deal with him was filled by Cadsuane.
So, I mean, it's easy enough to have Moiraine die, disappear, go away, whatever, and still have the story. And it would continue on without Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
And you could easily, I mean, obviously she did nothing at the end of the books. It was so depressing.
I know, right?
Like she comes back, it's like, ha! I'm Moiraine! Yeah. And everyone's like, okay, cool, I'm a badass over here, so whatever you want to do, like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Well, she forces, we don't need to get into the specifics of Memory of Light, but she did force Egwene and Rand to compromise.
But like that's not.
I know it's not a badass thing, but yeah. So now I'm starting to imagine it. And what if Lanfear, Moiraine, and Mat go through into another gateway, into another world, and Mat is the one who helps Moiraine out. So like. They have their own story arc in the Fae world, and it's like Mat being the guy who double crosses Lanfear and manages to trick a way out of that world. I don't know.
That sounds really cool.
It would give them something to do.
I love that idea.
Yeah, I could see that happen. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would work.
So, Maureen, I want to know what your theory was. You had, you said you were saving something for the book discussion.
Oh my gosh, my Leandrin.
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories. Okay, so I'm going to let it all out. So So Leandrin has been a dark friend, a Black Aja, for however long. And the Ishamael's been pulling the strings from his, shadowy apparition place. And he even told Rand at one point, like, I led your mother like a mare to be bred or whatever, he said to her. Yeah. So I'm thinking the same happened to Leandrin. I bet you they're like, hey, you need to have a baby. Go have a baby. And so this is like the Shadow's baby. Like, she had to have it in order.
Shadow baby.
A shadow baby, yes. And then, I think maybe it's possible she did fall in love with the baby, as you do, like in Rosemary's Baby. Even Satan's child has a mother and deserves love. So maybe she came to care for the son, but I think it was not... I think it's going to be really nefarious, even the fact that she's had this baby. It's like something Ishamael's plotting, the Dark One's plotting, something to get her in this position. I mean, even just... how easily she brought in Nynaeve with this information. Like, that was what did it for Nynaeve.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, so maybe... But that's a long con.
But that's
which is Ishamael's specialty.
Yeah.
That's true.
He set the ships in motion from the Shan. He whispered in Hawkwing's ear to turn him against the Aes Sedai. He did a lot of things, at least in the books.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can see it. It's, wow, man, that is a whole other level of planning.
I mean, Maureen, if you're right, then I would love an all Ishamael episode, like the penultimate episode of the season is just every era in history where he has pushed something.
Yes, just dabbled his fingers here and there, and yes. No, that'd be cool.
The midnight sun of the Wheel of Time. And that's a Twilight joke for anyone that didn't get it.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
I thought it was Dungeons and Dragons. Okay.
No. There's a book that came out just recently that originally had been written a long time ago by the author of Twilight, who I can't remember her name right now.
Stephanie Meyer.
Stephanie Meyer, thank you. Yeah, so Stephanie Meyer had a part of the story leaked where it's Edward's point of view for the first book, and then was like, I'm never sharing this, I'm never writing it, and then just recently published it, and it's the whole plot of Twilight, but from Edward's point of view. So you see all of the things that
Did he secretly orchestrate everything? Is that the idea?
No, but you kind of like you see more of the story from the other point of view, because obviously Edward knows the vampires. Edward knows, all of the plot points that Bella doesn't know in the first book. So in this, you would see Ishi's like plot points that he knows. He knows the manipulation. He knows how to get Leandra pregnant. He knows how all what's going to happen. So it's all of those pieces of it, so a little bit different. So
that's actually the episode I wanted out of Game of Thrones, is when it was revealed that Bran can not only go back in time and see history, but he can influence history. I thought there was, and I hold out hope that maybe the books will have this, but the idea that he was the one who made the Mad King, he was the voice in the Mad King's ear that had him burn Eddard Stark's brother and cousin, and that's what made Eddard the Lord of Winterfell, and he was the one who did all sorts of other things to make sure that things came together as they did, which resulted in him being king. Just someone who knows the secret history and has created the secret history of the world.
Yeah, who could see it all.
Yeah, it's just so interesting.
See it all.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
And then also something else.
Yeah.
There's something else I was going to say about Leandrin. Oh, so why is Min being played by Leandrin and Ishamael? Like, if they're both on the same team, why is...
So Ishamael is the contact that Leandrin brought for Min. So Leandrin's busy with the girls. She can't orchestrate getting rid of Matt. And so because Ishi is free, he can do that part. He can make it happen the way that it needs, like to get what needs to happen. So he's the contact that she was waiting for in the attic room.
But if
so
they're
that
both working,
he could convince.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because he's the one that can convince Min to get Matt to wherever he needs to go. Because there's no way. You saw she tried to, say no to frickin' a Forsaken. Like, she would have been able to handle against anyone else.
Yeah. But is it also casting some good light on Leandrin? Like making it seem like she's not as evil? Because Ishamael saying, well, you can't get what you want from her. Listen to me instead. Like he's countering her.
I think it was just that Leandrin promised you this, but she can't do it herself.
The only way you can get this is from me.
It's more about like, yes, Leandrin is going to help you do this, but she's going to help you do this by giving you to me.
Okay.
This was all Ishamael's plot. All of these threads are things that he's doing, and Leandrin is just like a really, really good agent of his.
Okay, that makes sense.
Making it happen.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about Alana? Because I freaking love her in the show. And yet, I'm so mad at what she does in the future.
In the books.
So, in the books, she, forces Rand to bond her.
She bonds him against her will. Or against his will.
Against his will.
For all the good it does, because she can't do anything. She thinks she can. In the books, at least, you can force your warder to act a certain way or to
You can do some controlling.
Yeah.
Which I wonder how much that is. Because if Alana had to mask the bond because Maxim couldn't handle it. That doesn't sound like something that could have been, like, she could have just controlled him instead.
Yeah. But she's probably, like, it's one thing to say, to justify to yourself, I'm going to use compulsion to control the Dragon Reborn, because if I don't, the world dies. Versus, we're having a problem with, it's a relationship problem with my warder, and I'm gonna be accommodating this way. She doesn't have to resort to force. In the book, Alana is desperate. You know, she's the one who's had a warder killed, and she's at the ragged edge, and she knows that the dragon has to be controlled by the tower, and this is how she thinks she can do it. But of course, it fails miserably. And
so I also wonder how much of Alana forcing Rand into a bond was Varen's doing.
Absolutely. Although I can't remember if Varen publicly or like in front of other people expressed shock or privately expressed shock. Some reason I remember her like thinking this was a complete mess up, that she didn't expect Alana would do that and was furious about it.
Oh, maybe.
That's just how I remember it.
Anyone listening to this will have to remind us, because I don't remember if it was an internal thought, which of course, I mean, you can lie to yourself as an Aes Sedai, even a Black Asha.
Absolutely. Now that it's a good question though, whether they'll follow that plot, because you know, in the books it was a violation. It was a violation,
and they haven't talked about it being a violation here. In fact, Moiraine even says Alana's going to take your bond by force if she has to. Meaning, I mean, it's then nobody's like gasping. Like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that.
Good point.
Yeah.
I just thought that the ethos of the show is one not to engage with those sorts of things. But no, you're right.
Yeah, whatever a warder, every relationship is different, and that includes like possibly taking a bond that you need. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
What if Moiraine bonds Rand instead?
Whoa.
That would be crazy. And, it would... from the books, we know that's a disaster.
Yes.
You mentioned that last episode.
No, that was having sex with
Maureen.
him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think she also entertained the idea of bonding him and knew that wouldn't work either.
Or did it... Wait, no. Doesn't she go through the arches after...
The rings, right?
The rings after Alana's bonded to him?
No.
I think it's after.
Okay. Because I think...
That happens in book 6. So Alana bonds him in book 6.
Okay. So, yeah, it couldn't be... Then it must have been, in my mind, it must have been a thought that I had, like a remembrance of Perrin thinking that it's too bad that Alana did it, because we learned that male channelers can't be controlled by their Aes Sedai.
Yeah. Something like that. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. But I could honestly, absolutely see them just dropping that completely, that whole plot line.
Yeah, because
all of that, because
really did much.
It doesn't really serve anything.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing at the very end during the final combat where Alana's bond to Rand could have been the tipping point, and it turns out to be a fulfillment of a Nynaeve arc. It takes her full circle where first she was only concerned with doing things with herbs and stuff like that. Then she had to let go of that and use the power. And then at that final battle, all of her power is being used. So the only way she can save Alana or prolong her life in time is to use her herbs to help her, so she can unbond Rand. So Rand doesn't get that. But I mean, it's such a I don't think
minor.
Yeah, it's minor, and Nynaeve doesn't need that arc anymore. It's not a full circle sort of thing. Her reliance on herbs and stuff hasn't been super emphasized right now. So
yeah, it's not oh my goodness, she only believes in the power of herbs. It's more of a, I am aware of what herbs can do type of a thing. Yeah. Which I think is important.
Yes. So I think we'll probably have that plot line dropped, but who knows? The show is surprising us left and right. So
yes.
So who knows what will happen there? But it's definitely not us, because we haven't seen future episodes.
So what about Perrin? And we haven't seen Fane, Padan Fane, since what, the beginning, the first episode? Yeah, the cold open of the first episode. So we know
where he exists, though. Like what part? Because we are fairly certain he's the one that nailed the fade against the wall or against the door. So like we know he's connected, which means could he have been? He probably brought them to the Shanshan.
That's likely. And
because
we know
that's what Ishii wanted him to do.
Yeah. The previews have shown that High Lord Turok, the Shanshan who's the Blade Master, is opening the box of the Horn of Valir. So we know that, and the last we saw that box, Fane had it. So Fane is probably heading that way.
If he's not already there. Although I also wonder, with his ability to corrupt, if he's going to stop in and we'll see something with the White Cloaks. And Fane will sort of muster them into sort of his faction, even as he tries to point them at the Shanshan. So we get that final climactic battle.
Yeah.
Battle of 3 armies, I think it is. Yeah. So it would be good to catch up with him a little bit, and I wonder if we'll do it as soon as next episode. Yeah,
I can see it being the connection that scene from the books where he's like, "Oh, I brought you this box," and he doesn't know how to open it, but Turok does.
Right.
Like that. That feels very on brand. That feels like what could happen.
Yeah.
I'm excited to kind of see how Fane continues with this story.
Yeah. And we've seen him now, or we think we've seen him nail a fade to the door. So we know that he is something above and beyond your normal dark friend, something very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to see him in action.
Without being affected by Mashadar.
Yep. So I think we need some more establishment of how dangerous, how weird he is.
And why.
Yeah. And I love how he acts too. His smile is so damn crazy and scary.
Oh my
we just need to see more of that.
Yes,
I want more. Yes, please. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Is there anything else we're missing? Yes. Rand teaching.
Yeah.
So back, the whole conversation, the Forsaken, we've got 8 Forsaken, pretty much guaranteed. 8 is the magic number in the show, not 13, yada, yada,
I
yada.
believe you, Kathy.
Yes, just reaffirming my correctness, preaching it from the mountaintops. In the little statues, one of them has a musical instrument, a guitar, a lyre, or something, which is probably Asmodean. And so I wonder if we're going to have Logain do a little bit of training, but because he can't channel, he can't actually show anything.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's going to be, the setup for it, that initial, like, here's what I did, here's how I learned, but then Lanfear is going to let Asmodean out.
You know how in the books the big mystery was who killed Asmodean? What if Asmodean kills Logain?
Oh my gosh. That would be hilarious.
There would be such an uproar.
It would be ridiculous. Absolutely just bananas.
Especially if they stage it in the same way where Logain walks into like a little storeroom. What? You? No! Death took him.
Oh my gosh. That would be so funny. I would love that. Holy cow. Brilliant. So good.
If not, just give us a deleted scene like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Or, an origin story is fine.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. So, Logain as a teacher, Asmodean potentially as a teacher, and then we have enough of a name drop that we think that Mazrim Taim is coming in. Taim, sorry, that's how RJ pronounces it. So, lots of potential male channelers who are cozy with Rand in some way or another. And they can't all coexist together. They would rip each other apart. So, I really would love to see Nynaeve heal Logain.
Oh my gosh, so much. Yes. I hope.
So, maybe they get separated at some point and we get that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Such a great plot point.
Yeah.
Well, just Nynaeve performing miracles, just like almost every book for a while, doing something nobody else has ever thought to do. Oh, hey, I healed madness. Oh, hey.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Any other speculation that we want to discuss?
I should ask you. So you said that 8 Forsaken. I remember one of the little statues had like spider webs or something.
Yes.
So we know Ishamael 1, Lanfear 2, Asmodean 3, Moghedien 4. Who are the other 4?
I think we're going to get Grendel.
Okay.
Samael.
I think we're gonna get Samael.
Demon
we
Dread.
gotta have.
Yeah, Demon Dread.
I think Demon
and
Dread's
then-
going to be Taim in this one, but yeah.
That would make
so
sense.
one more.
Honestly,
Raven?
I can't remember the other.
And Camelin?
I would
in
love to
Camelin?
see Raven in the Camelin plot, especially because there was an actor, and I think was it the actor in Black Mass or no, not Black Mass. It was that sort of vampire show in a small town where the vampire was treated like an angel. The actor there, I think, posted a picture of himself, and I said, "That is Raven." And there was even a little chatter around that.
Semirog.
Maybe Masana.
Yeah,
Semirog's the
I'd
one
love
that's
to see
with
Semirog.
Sor-Chan.
I'd love to see Masana in the tower. Oh boy.
Yeah. So okay, I think Grendel and Semirog could kind of be the same person.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're both the torture. Like my pretties, my support, whatever
Yeah.
type of a thing. I think they can be together. We could even have Megideon be Masana.
That's true. That's
yeah.
true.
Both
I like
be-
that idea.
Yeah.
Put her in the tower.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Ishi, Lanfear, Asmodean, Demodred, Samael, Megideon / Masana, and Grendel / Semirog. And then
We'll leave out Belal, Bethamel, and Agenor.
yeah, who are all basically the same person.
Well,
That's
They
fair.
don't
but we have
matter.
them reborn several times, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So do you think they'll do that? Agenor and no, not
I
Osengar and Arengar.
I don't think so. Mainly because you have that whole issue of like channeling as someone else, like as a different gender. I don't know if that
Right.
would be something that they want to tackle.
I agree.
So they might of those three, if they're going to like give it one of the names to somebody, I can see Agenor being the one, mainly as the creator of
Shadow Spawn.
the Shadow
Yeah.
Spawn. Because Balal and Balthamel, they don't matter.
Yeah.
They really
Yep.
don't matter.
Are we gonna get Kalendor then?
I hope so. That'd be nice.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it is iconic,
Crystal
but it doesn't really
swords.
mean anything.
Well, it doesn't mean anything, but it also is the weapon used in the battle against the Dark One at the very end.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
maybe.
especially with the unrestricted like power. Like
And-
there's
and
no
buffer against the true
buffer.
power.
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
nice to see
I
the
don't
Stone
know.
of Tyr and all that being
Yeah.
overthrown. And
We've seen
stuff,
it
so
from
I
the
hope that.
outside, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
we totally need that convergence on the stone. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be really neat.
Yeah.
Especially
that would
with
be
Matt
neat.
using
I
fireworks
know, right?
for
Yes.
the first time.
Oh, so cool.
Oh yes, yeah. I think that I can see. Okay, so 2 is Falme, whatever, however you pronounce
Yeah, they said
it.
Falm in the show.
Yeah,
They said Falme
So
in the show.
okay, is book 4, because of course it all blends together. I'm sorry. I'm not a real fangirl because I can't remember the order. Is book 4 where we get like heading to the stone?
They are in the stone. They conquer the stone by the
In
end of book 3.
3.
They've
But book 3,
occupied
okay.
in 4. They've occupied it. They're playing cards, and the cards
Okay.
are going crazy. With the bubbles
Yeah.
of evil there.
Yep, and that's where the grain things are filled with. No, that's in 3.
No, that's right.
anyways,
Yeah.
anyways, so I can see season 3 being the stone.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
And significant more prophecies. We're gonna get more Aiel, which by the way we haven't
I
seen
know,
that
right?
Aiel
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
disappointing.
And we know they're
I-
this season. So
Yep, and we know that Perrin is with Aviendha.
Uh-huh.
And so I wonder if Perrin and Elias are going to be traveling towards to try and get their friends. Because right now, where are they going?
They're going to Falm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're gonna meet up with the Aiel at some point, probably.
Yeah.
Although, how is Perrin gonna go into a city? Because Elias obviously doesn't want to go into a city. The wolves aren't going to go into a city. I can't wait to see how they make this happen.
Yeah. Well, I think Perrin goes into the city because he'll learn about Nynaeve and Egwene being captured. And so,
maybe
both of them are trying to rescue each other, and yeah, things don't go well.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
No,
now, I'm ready to see the next episode.
I know, right? How soon?
I know. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. You can find links to follow us online in the show notes or on Dragonmount.com. On our website, we have tons of incredible content all about the Wheel of Time. Blog posts, chapter, episode summaries, where you too can see which things happen in which book. Got tons of news, articles, as well as links to our YouTube channel, which we have so many great videos, and you can also access all of our social media. You will definitely find something to entertain you. Also, make sure to check out our Patreon. Not only do you get to support the community of creators here at Dragonmount, but we have so many other goodies for you. We will be revamping over the next year, but right now you can see full interviews that I did with some of the new cast in season 2, as well as our favorite good boy Hopper's friend, Marcus Rutherford, who plays Perrin. I've been Kathy Campbell.
Rajiv Moté.
And I'm Maureen Carr.
This is not the ending, but it is an ending. Thanks for listening, and we hope you have an absolutely incredible day.